Hold on. Everyone, thank you for joining us. This is Saima Dillon with Heart to Heart with Saima. I bring this show to you every Tuesday evening, 4 p.m. Central Time. The purpose of the show is just a genuine connection, a heart-to-heart connection with just amazing people out there. Ordinary people doing extraordinary things, sharing stories, and at the end of the day, we are all ordinary. We all have a story to share. And today I'm going to bring three empowering women. They're guests on my show. There's Nida Jawed, there is Tehia Mustafa, and then we have Rasha, and they are right here. We're going to start with you right there. Hold on. Okay. Let's see. So we're going to start with you, Nida. Okay. And we will let you do an introduction. Tell us about you and tell us a little bit about, oops, sorry about that. Okay, now tell us about you, Nida.
Well, first of all, hello and salam everyone. And Saima, thank you so much for having me. For those who don't know me, I'm a certified professional life coach, helping people live an aligned, balanced, and fulfilled life through self-discovery. My practice is called Nida Jawed Life Coaching. And the main purpose of this is that people need to connect with themselves. It comes from the basis of how I discovered myself. I know the contentment that is achievable and the differences people can create around them just by acknowledging and accepting themselves. So this is the journey I help my clients get on. And believe me, the results are phenomenal. So this is what I do. And I love every minute of it.
Well, Nida, thank you for being here. And of course, while you were speaking, I was just going through everything. And let me add Tehia to the stream as well. Rasha, you have your own journey to share with us, and you are originally from Sudan. You became a physician in Sudan, and then you decided to come to the U.S. As you were sharing your story with me. So I'm going to let you tell us about you and bring you on here.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me today, Saima. I really appreciate it. And yes, just like you introduced me, my name is Rasha Babikir El Khawaja. That's my full name. I am trained. I was a trained and licensed physician in Sudan before I moved to the U.S. Years back. And now I proudly present myself as a researcher, a researcher who have created her own path, with the educational background that I had, in medicine, as well as a proud co-owner of Zena Ventures LLC and a founder and CEO of EFLEET LLC. Basically, EFLEET is the dream company that I always that I created for myself years back when I came to the US. It was a lot on paper, and eventually it became a reality for me, to where I empower women, help them to advance professionally, in a new world as immigrants of the United States of America, and help them pave a career path for themselves, whether it's in clinical research or in healthcare generally, and prove themselves to themselves as, empowering in their own right, and hopefully making a difference in the world.
Well, I know everyone has a story to tell. Every human being, right? And some stories have more trials and tribulations. Some stories have more highs and lows. That, but I think the more passionate you are, and the more driven you are, and the more courageous you are, um, the harder the journey, because then you have that passion within you to make it happen, no matter what comes in your way. um, you're just determined to get over every obstacle to get to your destiny or destination. I would like to introduce Tehia Mustafa. Tehia, I would love for you to uh, come here and tell us a little bit about your journey.
Sure. Thank you, Saima. I'm honored to be on your show to share my journey. I came from a very protective family. My dad was a successful coffee exporter. He provided good life for his family. My mom, being a modestly educated woman, but stay-at-home mom, she had plenty of time to bond, to connect, and empower me in many ways. One that really stick with me to this day is her soft whispering in my ear that she believed if I try anything, I can succeed. I truly believed her. This word was this wise word of her took the fear of trying new things in my life's journey. Both of my parents believed in education. Therefore, I came to America, the land of opportunity, to pursue my dream. My dream was to be an educated and a financially independent woman. My inner secret drive was to never be controlled by a man for the sake of financial stability, which I have witnessed in my mom's life. I did not know this also meant that I will raise two beautiful kids as a single mom. I guess that was the vibration I sent out to the universe. In pursuing my dream, I had many stumbling blocks, but I kept focusing on each of my successes, regardless of how small they are, regardless of how small they are, to propel me to achieve my next goal and next goal and next goal. Here are a few of my successes. I graduated with honor from Texas Southern University School of Pharmacy with Doctor of Pharmacy degree. I did one year ambulatory residency in Virginia Mason Hospital in Seattle, Washington. Currently, I'm working as a clinical pharmacist in hospital, and I'm a part owner of a retail community pharmacy called CureRx LLC in Wiley, Texas. I believe having my own pharmacy will give me the opportunity to educate my patient, my community, and empower them to be involved in their health care decision. People helping others truly gives me a tremendous joy. This is the reason I volunteer in my community. For example, I'm a president of Abbay Women Foundation, a foundation that empowers women by creating a path to long-term economic self-sufficiency. Also, I am a member of COVID-19 task force in Ethiopian Community, and I provide short, up-to-date information on a weekly basis on how to stay healthy during this pandemic. Through volunteerism, I found my true calling, and I'm forever grateful that my work is not only a source of income, but also a source of joy and internal satisfaction. Again, thank you, Saima, for allowing me to share my story. I hope my story can inspire someone to pursue their ultimate goal, one goal at a time, by eliminating self-doubt and avoiding naysayers. Thank you, Saima.
Of course, absolutely. You're most welcome, and everyone is most welcome. I always feel it's my privilege to have the guests that I do have on my show, because for me, this 1 hour every week is like an hour to learn from amazing people. Um, it's just that 1 hour where I actually forget that I'm live streaming and there are people listening right there. And sometimes I'm told, okay, you know what, you need to cut it down from an hour and reduce it. And I'm like, okay, but you know what, that's an hour that or it usually ranges between 30 minutes to 60 minutes, and I feel that it's that time where I'm learning from the people who come on my show, and for me they are enriching my life. So ladies, because we want this to be so much about empowerment, um, we're going to go back to you, Nida. um, will you share with us what makes you proud of being you?
Well, first of all, when we're speaking of life journeys, right, there is a lot that we end up getting overcoming, and achieving throughout our life that sets the stage for where we are right now. There's a long backdrop story that goes on where I am right now, but at the moment, what I am most proud of is, number one, where I am, what I have achieved, how I have overcome my own struggles, and reached the point where I can say, yes, I am able to help someone else do the same. I am very proud of the respect I give myself, how I present myself, that sets the stage for others to know how I want to be treated and how I need to be addressed. I am very proud that I am serving multiple communities, not just one specific group. And the fact others are finding comfort in me, and there are no stereotypes attached to my being. I'm very proud of that. Then I'm able to diminish that gap that can be formed otherwise. I am very proud of the fact that I am able to bring that comfort to an individual, regardless of the background they're coming from. And when it comes to being proud, I'm glad that I was able to change my circumstances and be the benefit that others can reap from, others can thrive from. I know how connecting with self can change somebody's course of actions and their life. And because I am an example who has done that. And if I get to do this even for one person, it creates a ripple effect of life. One life goes out changing generations. Each and every decision they make changes a course of their life and their generations to come, who is present in their life. And this is what I'm most proud of. I have been able to achieve that in my life. And now I get to guide others do the same. And with every client who comes back to me saying, I did it, that's the moment. That's my aha moment. That's when I know that I have made a difference and I have made myself capable of doing so, empowering others to do the same.
Wow, that was heartfelt, and I think that is something which is which is something that definitely all the women here on the platform, they have this in common. I know that we're going to be moving over to Rasha and asking her about her journey and what makes her so proud of what she has achieved and what she has accomplished. So Rasha, I'm going to let you, instead of me talking about it, I'm going to let you tell us about your journey and your hardships and what you walked away from.
Thank you. First, I want to say that I'm very, very, very proud and grateful for the resilience I've built over the years. For being able, to bring out the best in me, and through the pain that I went through over my experiences, my personal experiences, that I was able to find strength and comfort and solace in the fact that there is beauty within me, that can help me push forward. As an immigrant, I came to the US with dreams of success. I'm an achiever on so many levels. I was raised up in a very loving home and a very rich environment by a father and mother who are highly educated, professional, well enough to give me the best education for me and my siblings. And because of that, I felt that I was very nurtured and protected, to where I was not worried about the life that I will have ahead of me. I thought it would be all green and beautiful. However, it was, the will of my creator that I moved from a country where I was very protected to a country where I would be very challenged to prove myself on so many levels, professionally and personally. And through that, came the test of time in becoming a mother, a wife in a first marriage that wasn't as successful as it was supposed to be. Um, and then, a survivor of pain and an unhappy marriage. As a divorced a woman and a single mother of two beautiful children, I lived for a period of time a life of being a single mom. And pushing through that, I was able to bring strength from within me to prove myself, in a world that at one point was unkind, but forced me to be very kind as a result, to whoever was around me, and very wise in how I dealt with everybody, to where it led me to, with that beauty and kindness and resilience that I had, to find a beautiful marriage and a beautiful, love between a husband and a wife in a second marriage. And not only that, as a strong woman who is willing to give her experiences, and show her vulnerability to those who are out there who are afraid to speak out and say that, they are on a personal level not able to be who they wanted to be, uh, you know, uh, and letting them understand that it's okay to have negatives, or sad moments in your life, because out of those sad moments, if you're wise enough, you can you can make beautiful memories afterwards. I'm very proud of the person whom I've become now, of being able to create a new dream for myself on a professional level, of being able to actually achieve that dream, of being able to, as a single mother, at one point in my life, go have a full-time job at a very high, a qualified level, and go to school for a graduate degree as a full-time student, and cater to my children's need at the time. And showing my children that there is no reason to come up with excuses, that there is no excuse for success if you put that in your mind. So I speak now and I think about all these experiences that I had, and I actually smile at myself from within myself, that I actually am now ready to go out to the world, and say that it's okay if you ever experienced a painful moment in your life, and it's okay to take that painful moment to make something beautiful out of it, and not be afraid to voice it out. Yeah.
Sorry, that was not intentional. That was me trying how to frame everything. Rasha, I mean, that takes so much courage to, and what we have seen in our society, right? Especially with the women empowerment group that I have, Women of Noor. There are times when women will private message me. They might want to for me to share things on the group anonymously, without highlighting that it's them who's wanting to post it. Why do women feel that the breaking of a marriage is such a stigma? Because it shouldn't be. I feel that sometimes people are not meant to be for each other,
Agreed.
and it's okay. If it's not meant to be, then it's okay to move on. But they are so broken inside that it's difficult for them to find that courage. They've lost they have lost their courage. They have lost their self-confidence. Do you have any advice how they can go about finding what they have lost?
I actually think that, to answer your first question as to why women, uh, don't accept the breakage of a marriage, I think it's on two levels. The first one is that it's cultural. Those who are, you know, willing to exit a marriage and, accept to themselves first that this is a broken marriage and that they no longer can handle it, are also afraid to voice it out because culturally it's not acceptable, and they're perceived as failures, within a marriage, as partners within a marriage, that they were not able to handle a household. And that's not the truth. It takes two to build a home. And if these two people are not there and ready to actually do the best they can to create a beautiful life together, then the equation is not balanced. Therefore, it's not going to happen. Number two, it's the fear of what are they gonna do if they exit a marriage if they're not financially empowered, and if they have children, how are they gonna raise these children? Especially because it has become the norm, in a broken marriage, that the mother will have to take on the responsibility, and the financial burden. I'm not gonna say, I won't say all of it, but most of it, to raise the children. And that becomes extremely hard if a woman does not have the background in education, the foundation, educationally, and the financial knowledge to actually help set the foundations for her future success. So that's my belief.
So we have women here. Nida's from Pakistan. Nida, were you born here, or you grew up here?
Well, Saudi is a part of my life too, Saudi Arabia. And yes, but I grew up in America, in Chicago.
So you are an American Pakistani who kind of grew up, not kind of, who actually did grow up.
I grew up. The issues that today's children face, I have faced them all way before. So when I'm mentoring, the kids find that comfort with me, the teens especially, because they realize I can relate with that better. The same confusions I have gone through, the same identity crisis I have gone through. And that's when I say, discover yourself first. That's when you have to answer for one of the things that I found was my parents were very, very attentive. And they were answering and addressing all of my curiosities. And when they were not able to, at least I felt that I was seeking out areas where my curiosity was satisfied. I was getting my answers. I have been lucky to have teachers who were not just Desi or, coming from Islamic background, but I had Black teachers, I had white, I had teachers and professors from different areas who helped groom me and gave me the knowledge to finally identify myself. What is it? Where is it that I fit in? And it fits. The most important is to realize that, number one, humanity doesn't really have a color.
It doesn't.
We actually anyone can build and give you the wisdom that you can carry on with yourself. And when I went on my self-discovery journey, it was the wisdom I have gained from my professor or my teachers, the unity, the love. If I tell you, I never once felt that I was encountering racism per se.
Yeah.
You would think in today's age, I'm joking, but that's the truth.
Yeah.
No one made me feel different unless except my own kind. And I'm not lying.
Yeah.
I was not Desi enough. I was not Islamic enough. And what made me feel sad was that no one is taking time to teach me, rather judge me throughout.
Yeah. I feel, sorry, Nida. No, go ahead, continue.
So I feel what I got lucky with was the set of parents who were willing to answer my curiosity, and all the professors, the teachers, the friends who never made me feel otherwise. If I tell you, up till 7 years ago, I did not have any Desi friends, you would think I'm joking, but that's the truth.
Yeah.
This inclusion factor that I have experienced, maybe that's why I relate much better with all kind of people
Yeah.
rather than a certain group, because that's how I grew up. My community was mixed.
Yeah.
That's the community I grew up in. No
Yeah.
one made me feel otherwise. They respected me for my differences. They did not call me out. And that's how I grew up. And that's the community I built and the culture I built for myself. Humanity, it is, because you can learn from anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, because of my last name, which is Indian last name, and so I got a message from someone, and they wanted to say hello on Messenger, Facebook Messenger, because they thought I'm from India, and and I was like, I'm not, but hello to you, and um, you know the simple message is that if we all just respect each other and accept each other, instead of fighting with each other over whose God is better, that's what the fight is about, right? That everyone believes that theirs is. If we just realize that the Creator is the same, who's created everyone regardless of the caste or the colors or the regardless of everything, and that to respect each other and each other's boundaries. And I feel the world would become a place that our Creator wants it to be, a place which is filled with acceptance and with love and with non-judgment. But again, but that's I am and I'm a dreamer.
Yeah.
So that I have those thoughts.
Which are
You know,
fair, which are fair. If I can just say one thing, when we speak of the spirituality, number one thing is God is the same. He created the universe, He created everyone, and He does not discriminate.
Yeah,
Regardless of where you are, you're eating, you're living, you're struggling the same.
yeah,
When everybody, if there is someone who needs blood, they don't go, oh, which faith am I supposed to get blood from? You
yeah,
just heal. And that's the important point. The God, if I could share a quick example, is that I was speaking with someone who was Caucasian, and I was using the word universal.
yeah,
And she came to me and she said, I call him God, don't you? And I was like, yes, I do too. And that is the difference, is what we create in our mind. But everyone is following the same.
yeah,
God is not discriminating. We are. He's not judging. We are. He never said, you are responsible for judgment. No, he said, let me take care of that. You be human. And once we achieve that point of humanity, all this
yeah,
stigma, all these stereotypes are going to go away.
I sincerely believe that, God, or our Creator, has actually given each and every single one of us an assignment, from the day they're born to the day they are, exiting this world. And this assignment, most people call it a test, you know, manifests itself in different ways for each and every single one of us. And I believe that this assignment not only manifests itself in different ways, it actually manifests itself according to the strengths, to the God given strengths that we have. Not every single one of us are at the same level, is at the same level of strength in different areas of our lives. It's what we are able to handle, that will actually propel us forward through our test or our assignment. And that's how I've walked my journey, from the day I left Sudan. That was the very first experience of being vulnerable. I had no dreams of living in a different country, let alone the United States of America. So that was my very first challenge, being in a big country alone. Yes, I did have siblings here who came before me, but that wasn't my dream. And, so I was always asking for guidance of what is it that I'm supposed to do to achieve that test. And then the second challenge, was entering into a marriage that from day one I knew was not going to be successful. However, I knew that God wanted me to lived through it for certain reasons. I kept asking what these reasons were, and how should I go by uh, making it successful. I learned a lot, from it. Uh, when I decided that, what, God, I know that now I know why I entered this marriage. It's because I was supposed to have these two beautiful children. That was the only reason, you know, because these two beautiful kids were the core reason for my success forward. Because if I had exited that marriage without these two children, I would have been emotionally destroyed. But they were what pulled me forward, what pushed me forward. They were the reason. They were my why of why I have of why I have to prove myself to them, of why I have to stand strong, because they were two sons who needed a very strong mother. you know so and that was my assignment. When I exited that marriage, in my mind I was thinking, okay, God, I am here now in the midst of the forest. Everything around me is scary, but I know that I can get through this. It's just that I have no clue how. So show me how. Send me people to guide me, give me signs. And I always envisioned in my mind this big wall that's in front of me, huge wall. And, on the other side of that wall is a green land that I am supposed to be, in the midst of. So I had three choices to make. I would either create a hole through this wall to go through, I would have to find a way to go around it, or I would have to jump over it to get there. And that was my assignment at that time.
To figure out how to get through that wall.
Exactly. At that point in my life.
Yeah.
And
once you got to the other side, did you look back and maybe see that wall wasn't really there?
You know what? Whenever I looked back, I never saw the wall. I saw a forest with a gloomy,
Yeah.
with a fog area. See, it was never a wall. I created that wall in my mind.
Yeah.
But the beauty of it was that in my soul, I knew I was free to do whatever I wanted, because he's giving me the tools. He's telling me, you're educated, use that education to your advantage, create a life for yourself, come up with a new dream. My dream was to be a clinician like my father, to be wealthy as as they were back home, to create that wealth in a different country. As a physician, that wasn't going to happen. I had to accept it, be kind to myself,
Yeah.
and be willing to say, what, I faltered, I fell down because I said yes to a partner that was not my equal at that regard. It's okay. I will never regret it because I have two beautiful sons. Now it's time to move forward. And in my mind, I created two different dreams, one for myself for success professionally. And in my mind, I always knew that God will bring someone my way who will be the best husband I'd always imagined. And that happened. It happened at the time when it was supposed to happen, when I was fully, standing strong, when I knew I could do it by myself, when I knew that nothing can break me as long as God is beside me, that I have this faith within me that is telling me, go for it, don't worry, and in my mind, always remembering his words, that when he would say, do not worry, move on, you are in my eyes. And that's a verse of the Quran that I'm translating my own way. Please forgive me if I made it wrong.
And that's okay, because you know what, it worked for you, right?
It worked for me.
Yeah.
And I'm always having those talks with him in my heart. I'm like, okay, God, I'm going in now. Need you to be beside me. Send me a person, who's going to make this easy for me. Let's go. Let's get it done, And that's how
and it manifested, because I remember the exact words actually that you used, and Nida, you were on that call as well. And when Rasha said, and I found the love of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the love of
4
my
years
life.
ago, and
Yeah.
those are such powerful words.
Yes. And you know what? He is the love of my life as a husband. And he is the strongest partner I would ever wish to have, from a business standpoint. He always looks out for my success. You know, he knows that I will do it on my own, because when he came into my life, he saw that I already have succeeded. He doesn't need to be there for me to succeed, you know. But I didn't take that on as something that I should be, snobby about, or proud. You know, I'm proud in a very unselfish way, you
But
know,
do you feel
and
you might be
grateful.
hard on yourself?
At one point, I did. However, I would always take a step back and say, you know what, don't be as hard. Just be okay with it. You know,
Yeah,
be kind to you. You know, and I do it. I become kind to myself. You know, and I become kind to others who do not understand the journey. You know, who would never understand that there are always painful moments in everyone's life. It doesn't necessarily have to come out. You know, I don't necessarily have to say it. You know,
absolutely. So, Taya, just putting some light on you. Um,
It's a little dark, isn't it?
no, no, no. By light, I actually meant just taking.
Oh, okay, 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 sure, sure.
Not literally,
I
I
keep thinking, okay,
just
well, thank
metaphorically.
you, Saima.
So share,
Well,
tell us about what you are proud. I mean, I see your accomplishments listed in the bio you sent me, and you're from Ethiopia. And like I was saying earlier, when we, of course, women sitting right, we transgress so fast. We move in different directions, and we have so much to talk about and share. But you come from Ethiopia,
yes.
and you yourself are so accomplished, just like the other women here. Tell us about how proud you're of yourself.
Okay. I am proud of myself from the get going, since childhood, since the whisper of my mom's voice that anything that you try will work for you. So in that belief, I never thought there's nothing I cannot accomplish. So I became the first girl in Ethiopia to graduate in a degree in my whole family. I mean, in my whole generation of family, I was
Wow.
the first one to have a degree.
Wow.
And and of course I came and pursued my education in America, and I didn't mind washing dishes and walking dogs to be able to go to school, you know, to make a few money and be able to go to school. And I didn't mind all of it. I look forward to my future goal, and I'm so proud that I hold that as a strength. And I really advise the new generation, the youth, to believe in themselves, because they are unique. They're very special. If they hold that and honor that, that will propel them to their calling, to their passion, and they will be able to do that. So they never had to do, I'm not like someone else, and they don't have to copy someone is so hard, because they're not being themselves. When you are yourself, you can give to let alone to yourself, you can give to others, you can share with others. So I continue to pursue my education, and I became the first woman in my family to have a doctorate degree.
MashaAllah.
I'm
congratulations.
getting goosebumps. It makes me
Amazing.
so proud just to listen to you and your accomplishments and how far you have come. You're talking about your advice to the younger generation, and you're telling them to be unapologetically you, which means to be to be your authentic self.
Yes.
And I do feel that that is not easy. Advice to give this generation, because they are very different. These are very different times. They're very social media based. They're very internet based. Um, it's sometimes very difficult. And Nida, you might be able to, since you work with youth, shed some light on this. That just to tell your kids that it's okay that you are just glued to your computer for hours and hours and hours. Okay, you know what? Just be unapologetically you, which they are. They're very authentic. but sometimes it's difficult. There's a, you have to shrug your shoulders and
Right.
readjust, right?
Right. There is a line between discipline. Oh, I got sun on my face. There is a line between discipline and what you allow your child to do. As a parent, we are responsible for their safekeeping. And when we're talking about safekeeping, that means we have to address their concerns as well. Like I said, I do speak with youth, and many of them that are coming from the same background as I am. And they are finding themselves just as confused as I once did. And I'm thinking not much has changed. And the problem is, number one, that the parents are here, they came here for a better life, but they also brought in the cultural aspect as they understood.
Yes.
So when they are here, they are the parents are teaching the child or imposing those cultural barriers or aspects without much explanation. The child is very the child listens when they understand, when the child understand what exactly is it that I'm giving into. Why do I need to accept this as my own? But if they are confused and they are being told, this is because I told you so, this is because we are such, and someone else is different, that's where the confusion comes in. That I am here in this country. You came here for the better life. But you are telling me that I have to practice things from the country you left for the better life. It's kind of confusing.
Very.
So how am I making my home better? Are you putting me into the same situation you took yourself out of? By holding on to the same things that perhaps didn't work for you, now you're raising me exactly the same way like your parents did, with the belt and the chappal?
Yeah. Yeah.
or that?
Yeah.
And that's where the confusion comes in for parents. The advice is, when talking with your child, you have to fulfill their appetite that is being triggered from a curiosity. If you want them to act a certain way, then answer their whys. Give them the reason to believe in you and your ways. Telling them that because I told you so is not enough. We are never, even with every lesson, we are given reasons to believe in it. If you are telling your child or giving them something to believe in, you have to give them reasons to why. The reason I grew up the way I did, what I have chosen, is because I had opportunities to believe. I believed in why I needed to be a life coach. I saw the reasons how it benefits others. Because believe me, anyone who has benefited from my skills is myself first. I knew how to put myself together in a way I had never experienced before. And healed people heal people. The reason I have a 100% success rate with my clients is because I allow them to be vulnerable. Seek their pieces, connect with them, and put yourself together how you like. You are the first one to acknowledge the differences between right and wrong. When we are imposed and forced to do something, that knowledge is taken away from us. What we call sin or what we call wrong becomes easy because in that direction, no one is stopping us. We have every reason to believe that something is enjoyable because no one is telling us of the dangers from it.
But even that is a bit subjective, right? Because so many things are subject to interpretation as well.
Right.
So what might be unacceptable to perhaps even, I mean, with us right here, you being raised and brought up in the U.S. and me raised and brought up in Pakistan, and Rasha from Sudan, and then Tehia from Ethiopia. I mean, these are such different, diverse backgrounds, but I think somewhere, we do hear and we do see that there are similarities coming through in the cultures, especially when it comes to certain things like, again, like I was saying, it is perception based as well, right? Just because the society thinks that, hey, okay, I get a call and someone's like, hey, did you know that person is getting divorced? I'm like, if you really look at it realistically, right, that's just two people who knew each other perhaps for a short time, perhaps for a few years, perhaps not at all. They decided to get married based on a sheet of information that, okay, match, not match, but you know what? There's some kind of attraction. Let's go ahead, get married. And it doesn't work out. And it's okay.
I absolutely agree. I think, the message to send out here is that marriage is a contract, between two people, and that contract can be breached, and it's the right of each member who is part of this contract to breach that contract if they have done everything within their power, to make this, marriage work, and it doesn't. It's a woman's right and a man's right, to breach that contract.
Because you live once, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
If it doesn't work out, it's okay.
It's okay.
But I think one thing which is extremely important is for all of us who have children, that we prioritize and we make sure that we give our children confidence.
Absolutely. And to Nida's point in regards to how parents try to treat their to bring up their children as immigrants in a different world, I completely agree with her and the idea of be open-minded,
Yeah.
and be ready for change, to become different from your parents. As a parent, you do not necessarily have to raise up your children the same way your parents brought you up, because you're in a different environment. And if you made the choice to immigrate to a different country, or found yourself in a position where you're living in a different country that's that has different cultures and beliefs, do your best to retain what is good from your culture, and open up your mind to the differences, of the new culture that you're living in and that your children are growing up in. I, as an immigrant mother, have children who are first generation American, who went to American schools, who are being taught things that are different from what I was taught when I was their age at school, and with that comes a lot of power, in their hands, in comparison to my power and from a knowledge base. What I did at one point is accept what they know, and had a discussion with them of saying, okay, this is what you're being taught in school. Let's sit down and compare it to what we believe in from a religious standpoint, and what we accept from a social standpoint, and see if these two can merge to where you guys can become well-rounded American citizens with a faith that has great foundations for you, to allow you to know who you are as a person,
Rasha, on that note, we are in the last 10 minutes of the show, because of course, like we expected, we did expect time to just fly by with you amazing women sharing your journeys and your strengths and your accomplishments. In the last 10 minutes, what I would like to do is I'm going to give each and every, we do have a lot of comments which are coming through as well. And, but I don't see any, there are no questions. There are a lot of comments and just a lot of empowering stuff. So I'm going to hand over. The one thing that before I hand over, I'll give like 2 minutes to each of you so that you can share what you're doing right now and what the viewers who are watching and who will be watching, what they can do to help you grow, where they can find you. So this is going to be your pitch, whether it's a sales pitch, it's your pitch, it's your heart pitch, whatever it is, it will be your 2 minutes. And before I do that, The one thing that I will say, because Nida was talking about children, is that at the end of the day, you do teach your children, but they are meant to be who they are. And it is so necessary as parents to accept your children just the way they are. Because when you try to change them, that's where they become completely lost. And then they feel that they don't even have the support of that backbone, which is supposed to be their parents, who have brought them into this world, who are supposed to take care of them. So as parents, even if they find that there's no one else standing behind them, the children should always know that, hey, it's okay to fall, because you know what? There's someone watching over my back. So I think on that note, Nida, I will once again hand this over to you, and hopefully I pressed the right buttons, which I did before. So I think, okay, it's good. It's got me. I'm going to bring you now. Go ahead, Nida.
All right. First of all, again, thank you. And it's been so enlightening to hear all of the wonderful ladies speak. When it comes to children, I just want to say that change is something that is consistent. None of us remain the same. And that's something that parents' guidance comes in from. You're absolutely right. Everyone will make mistakes, and we don't make mistakes consciously. They just happen to happen. And when that event happens in a child's life, be there to hold on to them. Don't, if they fall, give them the hand. Change is something that's consistent. They will change. No one remains the same. No one can force a change. People choose to change, or sometimes are forced by the circumstances. And when that happens, this is why I keep talking about self-discovery and self-connection. It is most important that way. Once you realize why are you making the choices that you are, everything else becomes easy. Self-discovery leads to decision making, and this is exactly what I help others with. Your fulfilled, balanced alignment of your life, whether it's connecting from work to life, to social life, to family, all of that falls in alignment when you realize who you are, what role you play in every part of your life. How are you impacting yourself and others? How are your decisions linking one part to the other when it comes to your life? How is me being a life coach dealing with my regular personal life? How is that impacting care of? And self-discovery, being aware of self, of my consciousness, making those choices on purpose, leads to that. When I work with youth, guiding them through their consciousness, self-discovery, their likes and dislikes, pushing away from peer pressures, and making their own decisions leaves a huge impact. They're more keen to get closer to their parents than they are with their friends. Because friends just tease them, oh, you're not good enough and this and that. And the peer pressure is a real thing. Parents need to be that guidance, that source, that regardless of how much the child is in danger, they are not afraid to come back to a parent because of fear of punishment or judgment. Because judgment is something, regardless of whom we are around, is present. Our friends, our family, however the life goes. When we are content in our being,
Yeah.
this is how I've discovered myself. I know how to respect myself, and regardless of your opinion, I'm happy.
Yeah.
That's what we need to achieve, and that's what I help my clients achieve. And that's what Nida Jawed is here for.
Okay, I'm going to hand over to Rasha. Go ahead, Rasha.
Okay, so let me say that I am very passionate about quality in work and in clinical research, educating in clinical research, and helping professionals, specifically doctors, conduct clinical research on a very high quality, standard. I am. With my company, I come forward with, making sure that all studies are, conducted at a level and a standard that is FDA approved and, accepted. And I also am very passionate about helping immigrant women who are interested in, paving a career in clinical research or in healthcare in general. So I educate I also help them develop themselves professionally from a professional standpoint, and also help develop their leadership skills. So I'm using my Arabic language, which is my first language, and English to, as an integrated source of communication to work with women who are having difficulty in understanding and communicating while in their beginning or early phases of their career, to where they can actually set a foundation for success for themselves. I also consult with them on so many levels on how to empower themselves from a financial standpoint, and from a legal standpoint. And that's as an owner of EFLEET. As a co-owner of Zena Ventures, I help build new business ventures and new opportunities to where the company is growing. So I'm bringing in my business experiences through Zena Ventures as well.
All right, awesome. I'm going to hand it over to you, Tehia. Oops, I pressed the wrong one, and I was almost about to just remove you from the group instead of.
I hope not. Thank you, Saima. Well, as an owner of a retail community, the pharmacy, owner of the CureRx, my passion is to be able to provide a complete program where I will be counseling with prescription medication, supplements, and disease management, like diabetic management and weight management, and over-the-counter medication. What is the best thing to take? And so to avoid drug interaction or drug disease interactions, issues like that. And hopefully with this situation, with this setup, I'll be face-to-face with patients, be able to help them and be able to so advise them so they can make the best decision in their health care. And the other thing I really wanted to emphasize is I'm a person who continuously seek knowledge. It's not what I learned 20 years ago. I'm continuously educating myself. It's like in Quran, the seek knowledge, and we should continue seek knowledge like a scientist. Whatever they find up-to-date information, we should be able to utilize it, confirm, and be able to spread that and help people and our customers. And then regarding the use, please allow them to be who they are, because it's very important to accept them for who they are. That way we will empower them. We're not asking them to be someone else. And let's give them, encourage and support them where they are, so we can have a unique, like their fingerprints, a unique people in our world that as we're going to be enjoying, and their talent that they will be sharing with us. Thank you.
I think as so many things that I say, they might be easier said than done. It might be easier for me to say them than for people to actually implement them. But I will still say that accept your children just the way they are, because that's what the Creator has given to you. If there are challenges attached with your children, then those challenges were meant to be. But the Creator, I think we believe, right? We always believe, and we say that if our Creator did not want the universe to be the way it is, that even a leaf will not sway or move if the Creator did not want it to move. If our belief system is so strong in our Creator, then we need to believe that everyone and the whole universe and the creation is exactly the way the Creator wanted it to be. You have to accept your children just the way they are. If things don't work out in life, it's time to seek things or try to do, like Rasha said, that when you had all those challenges, you felt that there was a wall in front of you that you needed to overcome. Instead of learn to live with it, live within the boundaries which were created, which were abusive, which were, detrimental to your mental and physical health. And once you got yourself out of it, you were able to change your path. And like Nida says, right, that change, accept change, because change is the only constant in life. It's the only thing that we see on a daily basis, and that is change. Accept change, evolve, change, move on, grow. And like Tehia said, that knowledge, right? What the Quran says, that in order to seek knowledge, go wherever you need to go, because you are meant to evolve and grow with time. Ladies, it's been my honor and my pleasure to have you on my show. Thank you so much for being here and for being.
Saima, if I may say one real quick thing.
Yes.
October 31, we'll be having a free flu vaccine at Epic Home Health at CureRx, for children only, though. Thank you.
And if anyone needs to get in touch, ladies, after the show, please go ahead. And I believe a lot of the contact information is there, but I would love for you to just respond to people who have been commenting and just share your information. So thank you, everyone, for joining me every week on my show, Heart to Heart with Saima. I'm always ready for your suggestions. I always feel that whether it's your criticism or your positivity, your encouragement, I'm always game. I'm open to criticism as well, because that's the only thing that will help me grow. So thank you all for watching, and please do comment. I appreciate you connecting.
Thank you,
You have a wonderful week.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Thank you.